Hey, what's going on? Happy to see you back. We all know that British cars are exciting machines to drive. However, most of them have mind of their own. Like in this particular example, my pop-up light decided to shoot halfway up and get stuck over there. I later realized that it's also draining my battery when I'm parked. So me and my son decided to go on a journey and try to figure out what's wrong with it, and maybe we can fix it. So, welcome aboard. Enjoy the show.
Funny, somebody recently asked in the interweb community what are the best perks about the car. And I said one of the perks is that in order for me to open the trunk, I need to have a good battery. So now I'm trying to check the fuses and I need the book. In order to get the book, I need to connect the battery. But if I'll connect the battery, I can short out the car. So real quick, Sam, open the trunk, man. Open the trunk. Come in the back, open it. I hope, nope. It's not working. So we gotta hot wire the car. Initial fuse pull for the motors, 215 amp fuses and the 20 amp fuse for the flash revealed that fuses are good. So let's get to the relay. Relays are located under the glove box. According to the book, these are the two. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna swap them out to check that the relays are good, because one of the lights is working fine. After playing with switches, fuses, relays, I scientifically identified that it's definitely not the hardware. So it's time to get under and see if we can figure out where the short is or trace the short somewhere in the wires. Hopefully it's a jam somewhere over in this area where I can easily access and prevent that from happening in the future.
With my assistant comfortably laying under the car next to me, we unplugged connectors, clean out the oxidation, only to realize that it did not solve the problem. So the next step would be to manually raise up the headlight, take the motor out and dissect it. In order to lift it up, you need to insert screwdriver into the bottom hole of the motor and rotate it in a clockwise direction. I also realized that my motor is smoking hot when it's connected to battery, so there is definitely something wrong with it. The reason you need to have your light up, so you have plenty of space and access to get to 3 bolts and a nut holding entire motor in place.
After taking a motor apart, I do see that all this electromagnetical generating forces died out because the whole thing is dirty. Right, let me see if I can clean this up and possibly resurrect the motor.
I used fine grit sandpaper and a wire brush to do the cleaning, but let's see what else we can discover. Remove 6 bolts from the body of your motor. This will give you an access to the belly of the beast, where you will find gear with a stopper or the timing mark that acts like a disconnect switch once your motor did full rotation and got your light up. Right, it will switch polarity to bring your motor down as well. So at this point I did check wires for shorts and I checked diodes for resistance. All looks good and we're ready to put it back.
Before we get to reassembly state, let's go over the checklist, what we did, and hope that this in fact solved the problem. So took the motor apart, cleaned the rotor shaft, clean the brushes, clean the entire assembly, check resistance of the diodes, validate there was no shorts in the wires, put everything back together, and now we are ready to put the whole thing back. So you can do it the hard way, the way I did it while taking this thing apart, or take the easy route, and that includes and not limited to a scotch tape or a pipe about 2 feet long. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Way number one, you can do it from the bottom up, just like I did when I took it apart, or since your pop-up light is already disconnected, you press here, lift it up all the way to get access to your mounting bracket, and either use tape and stick it onto the hood, or if you don't want to ruin your 35-year-old paint, you can do it with a pipe. Just like that, and you are ready to put the entire assembly back.
Now this is probably one of the most important steps when assembling your pop-up lights. You have to make sure that relays are in the same position. So voltages across both relays have to be the same on the same terminals. If they are not, you basically splice one with another on the same terminal to make sure that motors are in the same position. Once you do that, you should turn your lights on to bring the motor in upward position, and then disconnect the battery.
When that is done, you can lubricate your arm, lower the pop-up light, and connect the arm from the bottom hole with a lug nut that it was attached to. Then let's test it out after this complete. And on this note, I will stop the video. Both lights are operating. I mean, the one that I just did kind of iffy, but we will see. Maybe I just need an adjustment. Maybe I tightened up the motor a little too much, or didn't tighten enough. We will see how it will operate. Okay guys, peace out.